you gorgeous individuals, it's Kav here, and today it is time for another book haul. So it has been a good long while since I've done one of these, but my birthday was early in September, so I accumulated a lot of books for and around this time. I decided that I would like to share those with you all, so that's what I'll be doing today. Let's just get started. The first book I have to show you all is a box set of The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. Who was surprised? Absolutely no one. For those of you who are new around here, The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare is my favorite trilogy in the universe, my favorite thing in the universe, and it means the absolute world to me, so I will be collecting editions of these books till the end of time. The Infernal Devices is the prequel to the Mortal Instruments series, which is a very popular series that I'm sure all of you know about, and if you don't, you can watch literally any of my videos and I probably tell you, so I don't think I need to get into that, but suffice it to say that I love these books with all my heart, which is not new to anyone, so collecting editions of them just makes me so happy. The second book I have to show you all is the UK edition of More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera is a YA contemporary novel that follows the story of 16-year-old Aaron Sado, who is a gay Puerto Rican teenager who lives in a neighborhood that is not the best environment. He is dealing with a lot. He doesn't know he's gay at the beginning of this novel, and he really struggles with coming to terms with it, and he also has recently lost his father to suicide, and like I said, the neighborhood he lives in is not a good one, and he exists in a universe where there is this procedure called the Lateo procedure where people have the option to erase bad memories from their past and just not have those exist anymore. So something Adam does a lot in his book is straddle these lines between kind of science fiction and contemporary and incorporate these science fiction elements into his contemporary work, which just makes it so much more interesting, and the representation he has of Aaron's identities, which are both own voices by the way, is just so unbelievably brilliant. This is another one of my absolute favorite books of all time. It has meant the world to me in terms of mental illness and mental health representation. It's just been everything to me, and it really definitely deals with some intense crap if you couldn't tell from my description of it, and it can definitely be triggering to some, so be aware of that because it deals with heavy content. But if you are able to read it, I will recommend this book to you. I will turn this book haul into a recommendation because that is how good this is. The third book I have to show you all is The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily M. Danforth. Now I have 3 editions of this book to show you all during this book haul, so I kind of went a little overboard with buying editions of this book. The Miseducation of Cameron Post is another one of my favorite books of all time, and I will again turn this book haul into a recommendations video to recommend this book to you because it is so good. The Miseducation of Cameron Post is also a YA contemporary novel, and it takes place in Montana in the late 1980s, early 1990s, and it follows the story of a main character named Cameron Post who spends the first half of this book kind of coming to terms with the fact that she is a lesbian and discovering her identity, and then she spends the second half of this book in a gay conversion therapy camp place because once her identity is discovered, it is not accepted during that time period. Again, this is a book that deals with some very heavy and potentially triggering content, but again, it is a book that is so amazing, and like I said, this is the movie tie-in edition. A movie version recently came out that I absolutely loved. I loved the movie adaptation, I loved the original book, and this is also an own voices book, so again, I will continuously recommend this till the end of time because it has meant more than the world to me. The fourth book I have to show you all is Paperweight by MEG HASTON, and this is another YA contemporary novel, and it follows the story of a main character, Stevie, who has anorexia, and she is in a treatment center for anorexia. I believe this main character is also a lesbian, but as I haven't read this book yet, I am not sure. This is a book that Emma from Emma Books constantly recommends in terms of books about eating disorders, so when I saw it at my Barnes & Nobles, I knew I had to pick it up because I definitely want to read this and read more books that deal with subjects such as eating disorders. But again, considering it features a main character with anorexia and it's about eating disorder recovery, trigger warning for that if that's something that triggers you. The next book I have to show you all is Les Belles by Dhonielle Clayton, and this is the French copy of The Bells by Dhonielle Clayton. My amazing friend Romy, who is a book vlogger under the name Romy We Deserve Love, sent this to me as my birthday present as she is from France, so she could find this book for me relatively easily. The Bells is another one of my favorite books, and Dhonielle Clayton is one of my biggest inspirations. Also, just look at this cover, it is so gorgeous, and considering I speak French, I definitely actually want to read this. So The Bells is a fantasy novel that takes place in this fantasy world of Orleans. Basically, in this world, everyone is born looking gray and dreary and just bad, but there are these group of girls called Belles who have the power to make people beautiful, to make themselves beautiful, and this book really deals very heavily with the concept of beauty and what beauty standards are, and roles women play, and roles between women, and who women can be to each other, and just concepts of beauty and women, and it deals very heavily with both of those, and it does it in a very subtle but obvious way, if that makes any sense. If you hear that pitch, I'm sure you understand why I wanted the French version of this, because I think Dhonielle has even said that in writing this book she pulled elements from New Orleans, France, and Japan. This is kind of the perfect novel to be done in French, because the entire feel when I was reading it gave me feels of kind of France. That's part of the reason why I wanted the French version of this book. So I'm excited to actually try to read this, hopefully one day soon. The next book I have to show you all is Under a Painted Sky by Stacey Lee, which was a gift sent to me by my amazing friend Giuliano, who has a blog under the name Paper Blots, and she is adorable and wonderful. So Under a Painted Sky is Stacey Lee's debut novel that I have heard brilliant things about, so I knew I wanted to read it. From what I understand, it takes place in Missouri in the 1850s, and it follows a Chinese main character named Samantha, who is basically on the Oregon Trail after an accident causes her to flee and run away from where she is from. So she and a runaway slave, Antoinette, basically go on the Oregon Trail, and life is dangerous and hard. It is said to be very beautiful and thought-provoking and just all the good things. The next book I have to show you all is Fresh Ink, which is an anthology edited by LAMAR GILES, and he is a co-founder of the We Need Diverse Books movement, which is an important movement. So this is an anthology featuring 13 different authors, and I believe that it is connected to the We Need Diverse Books movement. The entire point of this anthology is to defy labels and to defy the norms and to discuss important issues, so I'm definitely very excited to read it and to share my thoughts on what I think is a super important anthology. The next book I have to show you all is The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily M. Danforth, and this is the ARC version of this book, and this was sent to me by the amazing Whitney, or Witty Novels here on BookTube, who is the sweetest human in the world. She sent me a beautiful card along with it. So Whitney knew how much this book meant to me. She had this ARC lying around and she offered it to me because she knew how much I would treasure it, and I'm so thankful to her because I'm just very, very happy to have this to add to my collection. The next book I have to show you all is an ARC of Don't Call Me Crazy, which is an anthology edited by Kelly Jensen, and this is an anthology with 33 different contributors, and the entire point is to start conversation about mental health and to discuss mental health, which is a cause that, as you all know, is very near and dear to my heart. So I am very excited to read this and to share my thoughts on it with you all. The next book I have to show you all is The School for Good and Evil, Quests for Glory, and this is book 4 to the School for Good and Evil series, which I am far behind on and I'm trying to catch up on. I read the first book a while ago and I remember enjoying it, so I wanted to catch up for a while, and now that I have the 4th book, I feel like that's a push for me to read the 2nd to 4th books. I really can't tell you what this is about because I need to reread the first one, but I do know that this is a middle grade fantasy series, and that is as much as I can tell you off the top of my head. The next book I have to share with you all is City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab, and this was a book that someone so kindly sent to me for my birthday from my Amazon wishlist, so thank you to whoever that was. I really appreciate it. And this is Victoria Schwab's first middle grade novel, and I think that means that she has now written middle grade adult and YA work, so that is amazing. But this book basically follows a main character, Cassidy, who drowned and now has the ability to see ghosts and communicate with ghosts. And then she discovers another person who has the same ability as her, and she discovers that she has a lot to learn about this ability that she has. And I think this is going to be a perfect spooky read around Halloween time because, I mean, the girl can see ghosts. The next book I have to show you all is AMAL Unbound by AISHA SAEED. This is another book that was sent to me as a gift from my Amazon wishlist, so again, thank you to whoever sent that to me. I really genuinely do appreciate it. AMAL Unbound, I believe, is a middle grade novel, and it follows a main character, Amal, who basically has these great dreams, but then she insults one of the biggest members of her Pakistani village, so she is forced to leave her family and go work as a servant for that family. As a servant, she learns things that she shouldn't, and she learns that this family will do very bad things to stay in power, and she works to kind of find her own freedom and to keep her loved ones safe. And I am very excited to read this. I've wanted to read this author's work for a long time. Her first novel, Written in the Stars, is one that I still so want to read, so I'm very glad to have this and to be able to read and support her work. The next book I have to show you all is You Bring the Distant Near by MITALI, PERKINS, and this was sent to me as a birthday gift by my amazing friend Leah, so thank you so much, Leah. I love you. You Bring the Distant Near is a multi-generational story that features a Bengali Indian family that is basically trying to achieve the American dream, and I am so excited to read this. The next book I have to show you is, again, The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily M. Danforth, and this is the UK rainbow spray painted movie tie-in edition, and this was sent to me as a birthday gift by my amazing friend Grace, who is at Grace's Library on Bookstagram, and she is an absolute angel. You all should go follow her. I just want to say that this edition of this book is the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I would die for these pieces of paper. The next book I have to show you all is Vicious by V.E. SCHWAB, who is Victoria Schwab, but V.E. SCHWAB is what she goes by for adult work. This was also given to me as a present for my birthday, and I'm so thankful to have it because this is perfect to read around Halloween. Basically, Vicious features these two main characters, Victor and Eli, who were great friends in college, and then they had a thesis that went from academic to experimental and things went wrong. So 10 years later, these two are now arch nemesises, and Victor is broken out of prison and now trying to catch up with Eli, who is his foe, while Eli is out here trying to eradicate every other superpowered person there is. Now that is a lot to take in, but what I know about this novel is that it is very dark and intricate and spooky and dark, so I want to read it. So the next 4 books I have to show you all were all sent to me as a birthday present by Kat, who is Catty-tastic here on BookTube, so thank you so much, Kat. I so appreciate the fact that you sent all of these to me. So the first of these books I have to show you all is Down on the Cross by ARVIN AHMADI, and this is a book that I believe features an Iranian-American main character, but please correct me if I'm wrong. And basically this main character, Scott, does not know what he wants to do with his life, and college applications are coming around the corner, so he sneaks off to Washington, D.C., and he gets a little bit of an adventure there. The next of these is Autobiography by Christina Lauren, which features a bisexual main character, Tanner, whose family moves to Utah, which then forces him back into the closet. Then his best friend Autumn dares him to take this seminar where he basically has to write a book in 4 months. And when he goes to that seminar, he meets this guy, Sebastian, who is the Mormon prodigy who mentors this class, and Tanner falls for him. I am so excited to read this book. I have heard amazing things about the bisexual rep in it, and it just sounds incredible. And I know it deals with sexuality and religion, which is a topic that doesn't always get discussed in detail, so I'm just very excited to read it. Next, I have Book 2 of The Trials of Apollo, The Dark Prophecy by Rick Riordan. Since this is the second book, I'll tell you a little bit about what the first book is about. Basically, we have our favorite Greek god, or my favorite Greek god at least, Apollo, who messes up, so then he gets sent down by Zeus to live as a mortal, and basically he's a sassy bisexual teen in this series, so I know that I am so excited to read this series, and I'm working hard at catching up on Rick Riordan's work. And continuing on that, hopefully catching up on Rick Riordan journey, I have the first book of Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, The Sword of Summer, also by Rick Riordan. This series I have heard just brilliant things about. I've heard that it's like his best series, and this one deals with Norse mythology. I don't really know the details of it. It's just another one of those series in Rick Riordan's world. The next book I have is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, and this is the movie tie-in edition. This was sent to me as a birthday present from my sister, so thank you so much. I'm very happy to have this. I did a watch party of the To All the Boys I've Loved Before movie for my birthday, so of course I want to read the books it's based off of on now because it is adorable. And if you have been living under a rock and haven't heard all the praise for To All the Boys I've Loved Before, basically it's about a main character who is a Korean American main character, Lara Jean, who writes these letters to boys she has a crush on, and then all 5 of them get sent out and she has to deal with the repercussions of that. And the movie was adorable, so I'm very excited to read the book, and this cover is adorable. Next I have an arc of The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White, and this is an arc of a book that is a retelling of Frankenstein, except it's a retelling of Elizabeth. I just finished reading this and reviewing it, and it is so good. I will link my review in the description, but oh my god, it is feminist, it is dark, it is spooky, it is just everything. It is filled with suspense. It's just very good. So the next book I have is The Mortal Instruments, Les Origines, La Princesse Mécanique. And this is the French edition of Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. So my aforementioned friends, Grace and Romy, who are the greatest people in the world, organized a books for trade where I got a French edition of Clockwork Princess in exchange for trading someone else a book, and I am so excited to have this because again, I speak French, so I want to read this, but also I just want to collect every single international edition of this book there is, since Clockwork Princess is my single favorite book of all time. The last book I have to show you all is Our Stories, Our Voices, which is an anthology edited by Amy Reed that basically has 21 different YA authors who discuss the realities of growing up female in America. So it's another anthology that deals with important topics, and I am very, very excited to read it. Now those are all the books I had to show you for this video. I'm sorry this video was kind of a mess. I forgot how long book hauls can be, but I hope you all enjoyed it nonetheless. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe because that stuff makes me happy, and go ahead and comment down below and tell me if you have read any of these and what your thoughts were, and if not, let me know if you would like to read any of them, and if not, let me know what books you have gotten lately. But that is all. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day or night wherever you are. Please remember that you are beautiful and you deserve the world, and I will see you soon for a brand new video. Goodbye!